Hello, everybody. Welcome back to This Day in History. It is September 5th, 2024, and as you know, it's not about the year, but about the magic of the date. And I've got to scoot here real soon to get to work, so I'm going to breeze through this fairly quickly. We're going to start with birthdays. 1774, Caspar David Friedrich, the German romantic painter, was born on this day. 1766, I kind of went backwards here, sorry. John Dalton was a British scientist. He was born on this day. 1912, John Cage, an American composer, was born on this day. Sadly, he just recently passed away, but Bob Newhart, American actor and comedian, was born on this day in 1929. Werner Herzog is a German director. He was born on this day in 1942. Queen frontman Freddie Mercury, his birthday is today. He was born in 1946. They're not sure, so it's a big question mark, but they believe the year was 1842. That Crazy Horse, the Sioux Nation chief Crazy Horse, who was instrumental in the Battle of Little Bighorn, where they defeated Custer and his troops. He suspected as having been born on this day in 1842. All right. The year is 1725. Marie Lesinska of Poland, she marries King Louis XV of France on this day. 1793, the Reign of Terror begins. It began as harsh measures that were taken against those suspected of being enemies of the French Revolutionary. So, the usual culprits of suspects that were counter-revolutionary were folks like nobles and priests and hoarders and such. It is on this day in 1793 that the Reign of Terror begins as a wave of executions start to take place. In 1836, Sam Houston, the city of Houston is named after this man. He was the general in charge of defeating, the Texan army that defeated Santa Anna. It is on this day in 1836 that he is elected president of the Texas Republic. In 1957, Jack Kerouac's On the Road was published. It's one of the first novels associated with beat movement, and I looked up beat movement. It was a style of dress. It was a style of dance. It was a style of music associated with the Bohemian community. 1960, we're speaking of Olympics here and Olympians. 1960, Muhammad Ali, well, then he was known as Cassius Clay. He would win the gold medal in the 175-pound division boxing at the Olympics in Rome. He was a U.S. Olympian. He won gold for the United States in the 1960 Olympics in Rome. This was before he ever changed his name to Muhammad Ali. But this singular event here is what kind of, skyrocketed his boxing career. He took off from there. And it ended up becoming one of my favorite boxers of all time. Speaking of Olympics, we go to 1972. Yes, that is the Munich Olympic Games, and we know of the tragedy that happened during those games. And this is that tragedy. Palestinian terrorists, they infiltrate the Olympic village. They took hostages, and they ended up killing 11 members of the Israeli Olympic team. It set off a cascading series of events that would be, escalated hostilities between the Palestinian people and the Israelis. If you ever see the movie Munich, it's a really good movie. You have to take into account that there's some Hollywood fluff to it, but it's a really good movie that follows the career of the Mossad agent who was tasked to hunting down those that were responsible for the murder of those Israeli athletes. Avner, I can't remember his last name. Eric Bana plays him. It's an excellent movie, and the movie implies that a younger Yasser Arafat was actually behind the plot, and at one point he was actually targeted for assassination, and for whatever reason, well, I don't want to give it away if you haven't seen it, but for whatever reason, Yasser Arafat actually survives. But it was the closest that the Israelis ever got to sniping that bastard. So, moving right along to 1975, Lynette Fromm, also known as Squeaky, she attempted to assassinate President Ford. She was a follower of the Charles Manson family. That whatever. She was a nut job. She was sentenced to life in prison for the act, but she was actually released in 2009. In 1976, The Muppet Show airs. It was a Jim Henson production. It featured, it was a children's show. It featured, Miss Piggy and Kermit the Frog. And it was great because I watched it when I was a kid and absolutely loved it. It was the one thing that you looked forward to. It was an evening TV show, and it was like one of the last things we got to watch before it was time to go to bed. And I believe it aired on Sunday nights, if I remember right. I'm not sure about that, but 1997, Mother Teresa dies at the age of 87. We just spoke about her recently, and it seems like that Britannica.com has like brought her up quite a bit here recently, but she was a Nobel Peace Prize winner in 1979. As you know, she was the founder of the Order of Missionary Charities. She was conferred to the level of sainthood by the Pope in 2016, but I think that's what it was. It's 2016. But it was 1997 that she passed away at the age of 87. In 2000, Tuvalu, which is a group of 9 coral islands in the West Central Pacific with a population of around 10,000, they become the 189th member of the United Nations. In 2016, American writer and political activist Phyllis Schlafly, she dies at the age of 92. She was known for her work with the women's movement and equal rights amendments. Women's equal rights amendments, I'm assuming, the right for women to vote. Well, that would have been after her time, but yeah. And the key, the event of interest today is it's in 2001. On this day in 2001, evidence provided for black hole theory. So there's this conference going on in Washington, D.C. on this day in 2001, and it's a scientific conference, and they basically they discuss the observation of energy flares that provided strong evidence of theorized black hole in the center of the Milky Way galaxy. So I don't know a whole lot about that stuff because I'm not really big on science. I mean, I'm big on science fiction, but I'm not sure what all those theories are. Essentially, they theorize that at the center of our galaxy there's this big black hole, which is possible. I don't know if they're trying to say that this galaxy was spawned because of that black hole, or I'm not sure. Anyway, that's this day in history for September 5th. We'll do it again tomorrow for September 6th. And I gotta scoot because I'm running behind a little, and I have about 10 or 15 minutes to get to work, and I'm just right down the street. So I'll see you soon. Take care. Be blessed. Take care. Bye.